AI contracting generates spectacular results. It accelerates several parts of your contracting processes. Reviewing a first draft contract received or drafted by the counterparty, making a risk assessment of a contract, or simply registering your contract signed in your CLM. In this video, I will demonstrate AI automated contract review and show you how Weagree works. We use GPT-4 Turbo, but of course you can also integrate Weagree with other GPT instances. In this video we will AI analyze a first draft distribution agreement that I received from Saul. I'm forwarding Saul's email to the Weagree portal, where it will appear in my inbox in the Weagree wizard. There are also other ways to upload a contract file into Weagree. This is just one of them. It's very convenient. Just forward your emails to the portal and Weagree takes care of it. In the top right corner are pending emails that I still need to process. Also, Saul's email will arrive over here. I can either create a new contract entry or append it to an existing contract in Weagree. That would be, for example, if Saul had sent me version 3, 4 or 5 of the agreement or some schedules. But in our case, this is a first draft, so a new contract. Weagree then asks me to enter some metadata to help me identify the agreement in my overviews. I also select the contract sheet with the contract topics for which I want to review the draft agreement. And then the attached document has the file naming as Saul had given to that. That's not necessarily how I would like to my files to be named, so I rename it over here. It creates altogether the contract entry in the CLM of Weagree, and it brings me straight to the repository. Here's the file that I just uploaded, and you can also see that Weagree is AI reviewing it right now. While Weagree is AI reviewing, let me tell a bit more about what you see over here. On the left-hand side is the navigation of your contract sheet. Part of these chapters are fixed, and they are there for every type of CLM contract. It includes a general overview with details and a contract repository that we are in right now. And GPT-4 Turbo will retrieve the party names from the contract and fill in those details as well. Persons and teams involved, so my colleagues, are here as well, and I can invite them over here, and I might as well hand over the contract post-signing for the performance of obligations and assignment to the right team within the organization. This is also the place to involve guest users. Another part of the navigation on the left-hand side are specific to the type of agreement. In this CLM contract sheet, it categorizes the contract metadata for distribution agreements, obviously, and it is both the basis on which this contract will be managed once the contract is signed, of course, and for now it is the basis on which the contract is being AI analyzed. There's a high level of matching between the data for which you do that. And since GPT is so powerful, it makes a lot of sense to elevate your contract management to a higher level and reap the benefits of a more advanced CLM. So add more data on which you can manage your contracts, simply because the registration and the monitoring tooling is so easy. Operational aspects such as delivery of goods, but also training of personnel at the distributor, they are collected over here. Commercial aspects of a non-financial nature that relates to the relationship of the distributorship, you find them here, and financial arrangements may contain discount arrangements, rebates, cost sharing and probably payment terms. You may all retrieve them through AI from the draft contract or from a signed contract once registering the agreement. Of course, there are also the basic contract lifecycle management essentials like term and termination of the distributorship, and finally some legal aspects as well as a number of miscellaneous metadata. The results returned by the AI reviewed are categorized according to this systematic structure. We will come back to this later. Finally, also a fixed part of the CLM is at the bottom a Kanban with tasks relating to this contract. You can create manual tasks, but the process and the management within Weagree will probably also automatically trigger tasks to appear, and they will reside here on the Kanban behind this. And at the bottom you can see that there is also audit trail with a logging history of all actions and modifications that have been made into this CLM contract sheet for this transaction. Weagree highlights all clauses on which GPT based its findings. At the left-hand side is the clause outline or a table of contents of the analyzed contract. In the right margin is the AI review panel. We are planning a few improvements of the user experience towards the summer of 2024, so it may well be that Weagree looks a little bit more intuitive. There are 3 ways to navigate your contract. First, by clicking the table of contents on the left-hand side. Second, I may as well scroll through the contract and click on the highlighted text. It unfolds a panel and shows the metadata details and risk assessment in connection with the text highlighted on which I clicked. So it jumps automatically to the right spot if you click on the clause in the agreement. And here again, I repeat it, you will recognize the same chapter structure in the right panel as I just explained. On the panel, if you click on a field, for example the appointment, you will see that the distribution agreement is framed by reference to a territory and not to a specific market segment. As you can see, the territory has also been described as England, Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland. Isn't this impressive as a result of using artificial intelligence? No training was required for it. Likewise, you can click through all the parameters. The contract will jump to the text on the left-hand side if I click on it. If I want to see the description of the territory, same thing. If I click on the item exclusivity, you can see here that it is a no risk or a contract clause conform contracting policy. Had it been an exclusive agreement, then clearly the risk was high and it would require C-level approval by management or in-house legal counsel confirming the distributor's exclusive appointment. Regarding the contract duration, the effective date is identified correctly to be 1st of January and an initial duration being a period of 3 years, which is also correct. The AI tooling identifies that the contract extends automatically. And as you might know, also appointing a distributor without a strict contract ending may trigger a violation of competition law. So also automatic extensions are marked as high risk, and also this would require approval. GPT also does a nice thing, a nice intelligent thing. As there is no explicit expiry date in the agreement, GPT calculates it itself. The 1st of January 2027 was calculated by reference to the duration of this agreement being 3 years and the starting date of the agreement being the 1st of January 2024. To reduce the risk of inadvertent hallucination, Weagree shows GPT's explanation of how it came to its determinations. You can see that here. Now, let's go back to the overview and see how from there we can access the same data. After the analysis, we can see now that certain clauses have been marked conform policies, so clearly acceptable. And we have this in the overview. We know that in relation to the duration and termination of the agreement, we have one high-risk thing which relates to competition law and the automatic extension of the agreement. Looking into the specifics, you will see that also here GPT has filled in fully automatically that the distribution agreement is for a period of 3 years and indeed with automatic extensions. If you want to check the precise wording, Users can look up the contract clause here in a pop-up. We might change this into the underwater screen that you know so well from Weagree's contract automation functionalities. If I decide that this appointment of a distributor is not of any concern for competition law purposes, and provided of course that I'm an authorized user in connection with this contract, then I can mark it green as an acceptable risk. I hope that you are as excited as we are about AI-driven contract review as well as AI-driven contract risk assessment. The future of contracting is spectacularly exciting. Thank you.